Hey, 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 welcome, 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 everybody. We're excited. We're streaming. It is Sunday afternoon, March 27th, and we are streaming live on Facebook. We're going to give Facebook a couple minutes just to go ahead and notify everyone that we are live so you all can get on here. We're live on Facebook and on Instagram. So, very, very excited. We have a super special guest today who has been doing some amazing things in his community and globally. So we're excited to share this with you. Today's topic, right, is our investment wealth conversation, right? And so we want to make sure that at least once a month I'm coming on here and just like chatting with you guys and chatting with some people who have really been there, done that, right? They're being about it, right? And so today, last time our conversation was about the power of partnership, which is huge, right? You've got to have the right people in your corner to make sure that you're able to be successful. And so I want to now today talk to you about the sacrifice and humility that it takes in order to become a success, right? We all want this pinnacle, right? We live in this age where you see everyone's success or what you think is success online, but you're not necessarily recognizing what that person or a team of people or business has had to do and had to sacrifice in order to be able to be successful. So we're excited that this is happening today. Let me just go ahead and check with Facebook and make sure that we are good to go and we're live over here.
So we're excited that this is happening today.
Awesome. Looks like we are streaming live, which is really, really great. Yay. So I don't want to keep you guys. I want to make sure that we go ahead and we get right to the meat of this conversation because as I said, we have a really special guest. And so excited for today. And here's why, right? If you don't know me and maybe this is the first time you're coming on to my live stream, we've never met before, and you're like, hey, what's going on? Who is this girl? I'm Dominique Willis. I am a co-founder of For the Culture Global, which we specialize in investment education consultation, right? We also do a big part of what we do is philanthropy. And so giving back to our community about 6 times a year. Of course, that's slowed down like many things, right, with the pandemic, but we like to give back to our community. So we spend a lot of time making sure that we partner with people who have a very similar heart, very similar focus, very similar values and drive, and just a want to help the people. And so it's really interesting how, sometimes those people just show up, right? They're new to your life and they just show up out of nowhere. And then there are other people and there's other times where those people are someone or could have been someone that you might have known for a really long time. And so I cannot say that I've known my guest for a really long time, but I can say that he is a really good family friend for a long time, family I married into. So I want to make sure that you guys know that your network, it doesn't just have to be, these people that you think that are supposed to help you, right? These are the people that you have been tapped into since really young age. So just make sure that you're going back and you're reaching back and you're finding out who those people might be, right? That are already in your life and in your corner. And so we're excited. I see that we are actually live, which is great. I just wanted to make sure everything was working good on this side. And let's go ahead and jump in here. So if you are watching this stream, go ahead and share it with anyone that you may know. It is being recorded, so you'll be able to share it afterwards if you need to as well. But my very special guest comes to us all the way from, well, he's in Greenville, North Carolina at the moment, right? And from Snow Hill, North Carolina, and he is amazing, guys. It's really in the industry that I'm in, right? I spend a lot of time consulting people on how to invest for themselves, and it's really, really interesting how lazy people are. Right? And you sometimes you're like, okay, yeah, I got it. We hear all the things, right? We've been doing this for a long time. We've been investing for over a decade. We've been doing this for a long time, and it's interesting to hear how people are like, yes, I got it. I'm gonna do it. I'm focused. I need to change my life. I want to do this, that, and the other. And then there are people who just are not, they don't talk about it, right? They be about it. And so when you get to hear his story today, you'll understand why, right? Why he has been so disciplined, right? He's been able to sacrifice and had the humility to do that, right? Because he has always known there are a couple people out there, right? There's the people who I've just, deemed, they want it, but they don't want to work for it, right? And they're the people that are just, we're not about to talk about it. There is no other option but to be successful. And so if this is the lane that I'm in, I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I am successful. And so our guest today is an entrepreneur. He's a business owner. out in Greenville, North Carolina. Very successful business, which we're really excited to talk to him about today. He is an investor now, right? He's transitioned into that space as well. And I like to call him, a fitness revolutionary, especially for the area that he's in. My husband grew up in the South. I did not, right? We lived in the South for a really long time, and it's fitness in the Black community and minority community in general. It should be an easy thing, it seems like to me, but it just, we're targeted with lots of bad foods and poor health care and, just not the opportunity and not the lifestyle that's been created for people growing up to be healthy, fit, caring for your body, thinking about what you put in it, how you work it out, right? What you need to know about who you are. And so we're excited to bring in Mr. Jamiyan Phillips. He is the owner, the CEO of Upstage Fitness. I'll bring him onto the screen here, of Upstage Fitness out in Greenville, North Carolina. They just had a huge grand opening.
Right.
Week Saturday. We're trying to get him on here, guys, so you can catch him for the grand opening. So hopefully you didn't miss any of these good discounts and things. But we wanted to make sure that you guys got to see and experience such an amazing person. So go ahead and drop some 777, some gratitude, some fire, whatever you're feeling this morning to help me welcome Jamiyan to our call. I wish I had like clapping background noise, but welcome, Jamiyan. Welcome. We're glad that you're here.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So talk to me. I just gave everybody all the details about, you and kind of what you're doing, but a lot of people on here may not know me, right? And they may not know you as well, or they might know us both. But tell us about yourself a little bit. Your background, how you got to where you are. You can give us a little bit about Upstage if you want to. Just give us, who is Jamiyan Phillips?
Gotcha. Okay, I'm Jamiyan Phillips. I'm originally from like a small town in Snow Hill, North Carolina. I stayed there my whole life, went to all middle school, high school, everything there. Once I graduated from there, I went to North Carolina A&T and studied exercise science. All right, so after I graduated college in exercise science, started doing a bunch of different jobs, trying to find out what I was going to do. When I graduated school, fitness wasn't as popular, so it was always like kind of considered a side job. So you had to do something else and then do fitness on the side. So I kind of got stuck into that. Got used to doing fitness like on the side. All right, so I started my first part of fitness. I started training people out of a bedroom in the duplex that I was living in. Stayed there for like 2 years. Then I moved to a different townhouse that had a garage. So then I ended up with more space. So I started training people outside of my garage while I was working at US Cellular selling like cell phones and stuff like that. So after that, during that time, I started an outdoor boot camp so I could help more people, which was in my hometown of Snow Hill. So I was doing that, training people outside, and then they actually gave me the opportunity to use one of the elementary school gyms because we started in the summer, and then we ran 2 back-to-back. We had a great showing, and people didn't want it to stop. But winter was coming, and I was like, I'm not about to do a boot camp outside in the winter time.
Right.
So they let me go inside the elementary school gym. So I went inside of there, started doing my boot camps there. And then it just kept growing from there. I always wanted to have one in Greenville, but Greenville had so many gyms and so many boot camps. So I ended up just applying to work at another boot camp in Greenville. So even though I was working for somebody else, I was still doing my own thing. And I treated my own thing like it was mine, but I also treated the other gym as if it was my gym. So I didn't slack on my effort while I was working for somebody else.
Let me jump in here real quick. So in case hopefully no one got lost in there, but Jamiyan said that he started his fitness business basically, as an on the side, because that's what society dictated at the time, right? So he started in a bedroom and then into a garage and then an outside boot camp and then into a gym. But I think what was really huge and why I wanted to interrupt you right there is that you said that you treated your own business like your own business, but you treated the other gym like it was your own business. And so that says to me, and if it doesn't say it, hopefully it says it to other people watching this stream, that you're already thinking like an entrepreneur. You're already thinking like an investor. You're already thinking like a CEO.
Right.
Which is a huge part of being able to be an actual CEO, right? It's the mindset that it comes with it. So I wanted to just make sure that people didn't miss that, right? That's a huge part of this is the mindset. And I'm going to let you go ahead and continue.
Right. Okay. So during that time, I had stopped working at U.S. Cellular and I went to be a PE teacher for lateral entry. So, because that a teaching job gave me more flexibility. I could work it. So I was working at the other boot camp before school. At like I would do their 5 a.m. and 5:50 a.m. class. Then I would go to school and teach and do football practice. And then after that, I would do my boot camp in the evenings. All right. So started teaching for a while. I do enjoy teaching and working with kids. It's still kind of in that fitness arena, but it still wasn't like a full-time fitness job. The boot camp that I was at, they ended up offering me a full-time position. And some stuff happened, and then somehow somebody else got hired. I don't know what happened, but it kind of came to a shock to me. Fortunately, I hadn't went all the way through with getting out of the current job, so I was able to continue teaching and just keep doing my boot camp. So then I was like, I need to just start my own in Greenville at this point.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I really
How long
didn't.
were you teaching?
At that point, I had been teaching like 3 years. I had just really finished up my lateral entry.
Your
Like
license.
I
Okay.
had just passed my praxis and everything.
All right.
So after that, I was like, all right. But I was like, I need to change my mindset, how I'm thinking, because right now, I didn't really feel like I could have a gym. So I wrote out some stuff that I would get up and say every morning about how I was a gym owner, how it would be, where it would be, and whatever. All right. And I was just kind of ride around and look at different buildings, still not really believing that I could have a gym. But I was just doing that anyway because I was trying to switch my mind.
Manifestation, right?
But all the buildings was like super expensive. They was too high because I ain't really have any money. I had been saving my money from training, but they
But
want
you're a
like
teacher in North Carolina, so I
right. So you
understand.
weren't
I
getting a
was
lot
a
of money
teacher
from
for
that
6
anyway.
years. I get it.
Right. So I ended up. What did I do? Oh, so I ended up stopped looking, but I still kept every morning. I would get up, and I had this long list of stuff that I wanted for my boot camp and how I wanted it to be. So I would say those things every day. And then one day somebody approached me and was like, we're getting ready to sign a lease at this place, and there's a building right beside it that we're in charge of. You should open a boot camp here. So I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. And it was more affordable. Everything worked out. So I just ended up, just going ahead and doing it. And they helped me out a lot with getting started. The boot camp was a previous church. They ended up helping me out a lot, like, because I had to sign my lease in October of that year, but they like paid up for me through January.
Nice.
So I had time to kind of save some more money and then recruit people to help me get into opening the boot camp. So when we opened the boot camp, we didn't even have enough people to cover the bills every month. Because I don't like charging people a ton for fitness because I want to make it affordable. Some of the other gyms, people paying almost $200 for classes, and then they can't even go every day. I wanted to kind of stay, closer to the $80, $100 a month range to get you unlimited classes. In doing that, it wasn't enough to really cover all the bills and the staff. So I was running the
So you were
gym, and so
making
I
a
still had to.
sacrifice
Say it
personally.
again.
You were making a personal financial sacrifice because you
Right.
understood the necessity of access to fitness, for people. But we're seeing on your end, right, that it became a real personal sacrifice because you're not able to keep, the bills paid.
Right. So then that mean I had to run the business, but I still had to keep my teaching job.
Right.
By this time, I had started back working at my old high school, which was in Snow Hill, which was better because the other school I was working at, I was commuting an hour. This cut my commute in half to 30 minutes. So I'm working there doing that. So I was teaching at my boot camp in the morning, coming to school, teaching, doing football practice, track practice, or whatever. And then I would come back and do my boot camp again. This is we opened up to January before the pandemic. So 6 weeks into boot camp, the pandemic hit and we had to close.
Oh my goodness.
So at that point, I was like, oh, it's probably the run is probably over because we already didn't have enough people to cover the bills, and then now we got to close. But
Right. Well, and that's really important about the pandemic, right? Because that was a global, and it still is, right, a global health crisis, right? And we know how the disparity of how it affects certain communities different from others, right? And so you're in a position where you're starting and you're trying to really get the wheels turning on this fitness business, right? In January of 2020, really trying to get the thing off the ground for the health crisis that was already plaguing many communities, right? Now we have a pandemic. And so now we're like, okay, what are we going to do? And we talk about all the time in our space about how, this global health crisis has turned into a wealth crisis, right? But there's two ways that you're going to get really taken off the line, right? It's either via health, which was already being attacked, right? Or the secondary is, through your finances and your wealth, not being able to be positioned or not being, I think you were really blessed at that time to still have a working, job, right? That you could still do this. Many people didn't. And so then they're getting affected by, the financial crisis, which was also already plaguing certain communities and things. So you get all you see, it sounds really cool, right? You start in the bedroom and then the garage, right? And then you're outside and you're at the school. You get this opportunity to have a boot camp at another gym. Then you get an opportunity to have your own space where someone is really helping you, the power of partnership, right, guys? Really helping you to kind of get your feet going through January. We get to January, 6 weeks in to the year, and you've already realized, like, wow, I'm, really taking a personal sacrifice to be able to keep people, fitness and their health in line. Now we have pandemic. So take us from here. For those of you that just joined us, hopefully you caught that recap because that was a whole lot. Take us from here. What happens next?
So the pandemic came, we had to close. So I was kind of panicking. So I asked the person I was subleasing from. I was like, man, ask the landlord, can maybe we get a few months off. He put this to the back of the rent, or we increase the rent and cover it through the rest of the year. He just was basically like, the landlord was like, nah, we're not doing that. You signed the lease, so you have to pay the bill. I'm like, okay. So we kind of started running our shake bar and doing stuff like that just to, kind of try to break even. And then the government started kind of giving businesses help, to keep their doors open, like with the payroll protection program and stuff like that. But every time I applied for it, they was telling me no initially because I hadn't been open long enough. So they was like, well, you got to show taxes from this year and that year before for us to help you. And I'm like, man, I just opened in January. So it took a lot of hoops. Like I probably applied at a bunch of different places. But then I reached out to like one of the senators and he helped me. So I was able to get some funds to get us through
Shout out
those
to the
first 3 or
senator
4
of North
months.
Carolina.
Right. So
Right.
get us through those first 3 or 4 months of the pandemic. And then we were running the shake bar and stuff. So that kind of kept us afloat. So then everything kind of opened back up, and it was just from then on, like a lot of people came and people kept bringing referrals and we were able to just stay open. But the pandemic, you didn't want to pack classes out too much because people was kind of nervous about being around a lot of people. So, we would, take a few people and then, stop and tell people, we're not taking anymore. You have to wait till next time. So then we was thinking like, okay, I need to get a bigger space.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people I talked to was like, you might not want to do that right in the middle of a pandemic. I'm like, well, I have to figure something out.
Right.
So I just did the same thing again. I wrote down everything I wanted, and I started getting up every morning at 3:30, and I would say those things like how I wanted the gym, and the gym we just opened is exactly everything I would say in the morning. So I would say those things like just to make myself believe that I could get a new gym right in the middle of a pandemic. You know what I'm saying? So I would just kept doing that. I would just post on my Facebook or anything that, hey, we getting ready to open a new gym. When I started posting it, I haven't even found the building yet. So then the building that I found it, and so then I revamped what I would say, and I would say the address to that building in it. I would get up an extra 30 minutes. So I started getting up 3 o'clock every morning, and I would drive to the building as if I was about to be working there, like have class. And I would say my little stuff every day, and then I would go back to the other gym that we were currently in and run class and everything and go to work and all of that. So eventually I was able to get the building. And we got everything squared away, got all the equipment, everything was good. So I was able to open up I had a soft opening this past Saturday, but the full opening, like we open our doors, will be the 4th.
The 4th of April. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I heard one really important thing too that you said in there, and you said a lot of really great things, but just the power of manifestation and belief. So you had done that the first go around, right? You knew, okay, my mindset needs to be a certain way so that I can, be ready to increase, right? Be ready to vibrate at a level where I am receiving increase. And then when you got to this space where you're going, okay, we're in the pandemic, we cannot fit everybody in here. You're kind of in the same space that you were
right.
A year before, like taking a financial sacrifice, but I have the people that want to be here. How do I make that possible? Come up with a solution that you need a bigger space. You need to be able to fill the classes the way that people would love for them to be filled. If you guys haven't seen, if you check out Jamiyan's page, we'll make sure we drop that here after. He's got some really cool videos. There's a lot of people and there's a lot of space and there's a lot of people in there that love what he does. And so you start to go, okay, let me go back to the blueprint, right? So you already had the blueprint. Let me go back to, and I think that's really, really important. Talking about and visualizing and saying and seeing and rewiring your brain and your mindset all the time, even though you're in motion. So your train was in motion. You already know, hey, I'm doing something great. Business is, still kind of booming, even though we have this pandemic going on. But we need to take it up another level. How do I do that? I go back to the blueprint. I am up early. I'm up earlier, right? I'm talking about what I want to see. I'm saying it out loud for God, the universe, whatever you believe at that time, right? To know that I'm ready to receive it. So that when it comes, I'm not surprised, right? I know how to react, right? When it comes and how I can do this, going forward. And so you talk about it so nonchalantly, Jamiyan. So I just went back and made affirmations, but there are many people who just don't know what to do or that they should even do that. One thing that I just had this conversation with my son, my 12-year-old yesterday, around our house, I have these orange sticky notes, right? And I know like my mother-in-law would have Bible verses, and I know a lot of people that have like different things that they do. And I have these sticky notes, and they're things that I know that I need to rewire, right, in my brain. And so like this one, there's one right here to the right of me, says, the only thing keeping me from receiving is that I remember, right? And so the only thing that keeping me from receiving is that I remember. And that's kind of my way of re-inputting good things into my brain, right? And so I have them everywhere that's like high traffic for me. So certain light switches, or if I sit in a certain place to eat dinner, right? And I'm always seeing it, I'm putting that into my mind. And it's something that I just realized, at this stage of my life, right? It's something that I just realized that I needed to do because you have been programmed with certain things. And it comes from a variety of different resources, how you get programmed. And a lot of it, I was in this conversation with my son, right? I was telling him, his younger sister, she's 5. And I said, we kind of have to be a bit more like her. Like she doesn't remember, she doesn't remember that she did something that wasn't great, right? She doesn't remember that she didn't complete her chores. She just knows that she wants ice cream, right?
Right.
And so for her, the only thing from keeping us receiving is as we get older, we start to self-punish and think that we don't deserve to receive, right? And so in even in some of the people that may come to your gym, right, they may do the same kind of thing, like self-punish. Well, I've been eating like this forever. I don't deserve that, or maybe they're dealing with some sort of depression. I don't deserve to be fit. I don't deserve to be loved. I don't deserve to be healthy. You have these things in your mind, and it's you, right? You're self-punishing.
Right.
There's an extent of punishment, right, that you will get through life, right? If you break the law, right? If you're a child, or and you have a parent who punched, there's an extent of punishment that is good for you. But it becomes bad when we start to self-punish, because we're the ones who remember. And if we could just eliminate that remembering, then you have completely unlocked all the doors to what you're able to receive. So every day now I try to go in and go, okay, when I'm doing whatever it might be, right? Say for being a mom, right? You try to be a good mom, but you yell, you scream, you do all these things, you're always fussing at the kids. And then the next time you go, okay, I'm going to try and do it again. Let me try again. You will tell yourself, I know sometimes I've told myself, oh, well, you didn't do so great the last time, so might as well just yell today too, right? And it's such a bad thought process. And so you got to be really careful about who's around you, right? Because you don't need anyone else reminding you of the things that you did wrong, or the things that weren't quite what you imagined how your life should be, right? And then you also have to you're the biggest critic of yourself, really erase that from your own memory. Start every single day brand new, like my 5-year-old. Every moment, right, is brand new. She's like, but it doesn't matter. I didn't do my chores. We want ice cream, and be resilient in it. And so for everyone who is listening to Jamiyan's story, he is really very chill. That's how he is, right? He's very chill about like, hey, I just went back and did what I needed to do. And it will become like that. But if you're at a place right now where that's not where you are, right, you are still trying to figure out how to change your mindset, then there's a lot of different resources, and mindset will be a call that we do at some point, right, for you guys to focus on, how to change the mindset, because you're going to need it, right? If you're going to go to Jamiyan's gym, Upstage Fitness in Greenville, North Carolina, if you're going to go there, it's going to start with the mindset, right? If you're going to change your eating habits, it's going to start with your mindset. If you're going to become an investor like myself, or be a student in this space, you've got to change your mindset, right? If you want to be a good parent, you have to change your mindset. Anything that you want to do starts with how you think about it and how you approach it. And if you don't actively make choices to change that for the better, for in a positive light, you won't be able to. And so I hope that, your students who are listening can really take advantage, because I know you do really great work, out there at the gym. You do amazing work. But of course, like every other thing, right? 20% of the people are super successful, and 80% kind of fall off and come and go. But for people like myself and people like Jamiyan, for everyone that's listening, we want you to be successful. That's why we do this. And that's why in Jamiyan's case, right, he made those sacrifices to start in the bedroom, right, and to take a financial sacrifice, right? There were people who were willing to invest in him to, allow him to have a little bit of wiggle room on the rent. He made, I don't know if y'all really caught, but he applied for the PPP loans, right? As a business who had been open for 6 weeks, right? A lot of people have been open for, 6 years, 16 years, and would not do the work that it took to apply, to have all their things in order to apply and properly use. And so there's a lot of background that happens for everyone, whether it's in business, in your own personal life, but your mindset and the manifestation of belief that you start with is going to be what really changes your trajectory. And we, and I speak for both of us right now, we really want you guys to be able to change your trajectory. That's why we do things like this, right? That's why Jamiyan was like, I'm just going to keep my job and I'm going to do this in the living room, right? That's why, Dominique, when she started her consulting business a long time ago, was like, well, I'm just going to keep going until somebody, until somebody comes along and gets it. And that's what I love about you, Jamiyan, because you're one of, I won't say there's not many, there's a good chunk, but you're one of those people who have come, to us during that pandemic season and really took advantage of all the resources that you had. And that does not happen. And that, right? From being an entrepreneur, that does not happen, right? I know, I'm sure you got people that come to your business that do the workouts, but don't do the meal plan, which you offer for completely free, right? To help So, so if you're listening, right, and you do go to Jamiya's gym, take the meal plan. Go get the food. Utilize the resources that people are giving you. And so I always appreciate, and I will always forever appreciate you utilizing the resources here and trusting us in our expertise. And you being able to do that for me is a huge, I think, is a huge testament to why so many people are able to do that for you, right? Because you're giving off trust, you're giving off belief, you're giving off energy, you're giving off effort, you're giving off those things to other people in your life, right? Whether it's
Mm-hmm.
to us or to your customers. And so I feel like your customers will do the exact same thing. You're going to attract those same kinds of people. So this is super, super exciting. Is there anything you wanted to share? I know there was another question I have for you. We can talk about these meal plans too, because I know you had a Facebook post not too long ago, for those that follow your Facebook page, about you discussing, wanting to keep doing or providing that service for free.
Right. Yeah. I just try to provide value when you offering something. You got to be willing to do some stuff. You got to forget about how much money you can make and do some stuff that other places not willing to do, and that'll allow you to kind of keep drawing more people. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do. I absolutely do. So we talked about, the sacrifice and the humility that it takes to be successful, right? And in anything that you do. In your case, as a business owner, we talked about, the mindset of an entrepreneur slightly. Is there anything that you would want to say to someone who is considering, and it can be, one of your students, because the mindset kind of, interchanges.
Right.
But I want to, speak to someone who is also looking to be an entrepreneur. Anything you want to say to them, or piece of advice you want to give them about, the mindset that it takes?
Well, yeah, just like whatever the business is, like whatever you want to do, you, we've been saying the whole time, you got to kind of change your mindset. I changed my mindset through saying when I because before I wrote those things down, I was like, man, I'm trying to tell people that they're change their body to what they want it to be, that they can accomplish this, they can accomplish that. But I don't think I can accomplish what I want to accomplish. So I was like, I need to change my mindset. So I just wrote down everything that I wanted, every way that my mind needed to be changed. It was really in those confessions that I said every morning. And you just got to say it so much to you. Like on days where I really was really feeling like, okay, I can't get a gym, I might say it 3 times that day. You know what I'm saying? I at least say it that once in the morning. But if I'm feeling like I'm not about to be successful, or if I start feeling like it's not gonna happen, or it's taking too long, then I'm gonna say it multiple times that day, just to try to change my mind so I can start believing that I can have what I'm saying, and I can start believing in myself. And then stuff will start happening. Whatever you put your energy to, and whatever you believe you can do, it'll start happening. Even if you're not necessarily really trying to go out and look for it, because I had stopped looking for the gym, but I was still saying that stuff, and then it popped up. So then the second time, I knew better than to stop looking, so I started saying my confessions, and I kept looking till I found something. And then when I found it, I went there every day like I already owned it. You know what I'm saying? Which is crazy because we're not even open on the current gym yet, but I'm already planning the next one, because my
Nice.
plan is to fill this one up, because that's what was in my confessions. So I only signed the lease here for 3 years because I know I don't want to keep continuing to rent. I want to at some point buy a building and be able to put a gym in there. So I'm already planning that and writing those confessions out and starting doing that. So when the time comes, I already believe that I can do it. So you can't wait until the opportunity comes to try to make yourself believe that you can do it. You got to already believe it before the opportunity get there. So you need to go ahead and change your mindset before you get to the door.
That's amazing advice. That's amazing advice. I'm gonna have to rewatch our video because I was like, okay, I didn't want to look down. I wanted to make sure I was with you, but I wanted to take notes right there, and that's some really, really good advice. And part of it that resonated with me, that was one of the very first things you said about how you have to, you were trying to do all these things to help the people in your gym, and get them to believe, but you didn't necessarily believe fully that you were capable and able to do what it is that you wanted to do.
Right.
And that is a self-awareness that I think so many people lack, a self-awareness. And it can be completely because, people choose to be oblivious. I think in my case, and probably many people's cases, it's we stay busy,
Mm-hmm.
so much so that we don't stop to be self-aware. And so when you're not intentional about it, when you're busy, you tend to just forget that you're not thinking, what do I believe, what do I want, where do I want to go. I love now that, in our day and age, right, that we do things like vision board parties, and we do things like, mindset calls that are live streamed, and we get to have these kind of experiences that we didn't have. I don't think I ever made a vision board. The first time I think I wrote my goals I had a professor my freshman year of college that had us write our goals.
Uh-huh.
I think we wrote 300 goals by the time the thing was over, right? And it was like just because he was talking about manifestation. So I'm really glad that we've kind of shifted our trajectory and people are starting to think and want to vibrate on a different level. But I'm definitely gonna have to re-listen to that because that was really great advice. And then that kind of brings me into like one of my last points and questions that I really wanted to discuss with you today was giving yourself the financial edge, specifically during the pandemic, but giving yourself the financial edge so that you could be in business. And so we got to hear about, having help, which is what we discussed last time, guys, was the power of partnership and having help. And today we're talking about, right, sacrifice and humility of success. So Jamiyan was able to sacrifice, right? He had help, but he was humble enough to ask for and receive, right? So a
Mm-hmm.
lot of times we're offered help, but we're not willing to receive it, right? Whether or not it's a mindset thing where we think we are not worthy of receiving it, or because it's an egocentric, thing where you're like, I'm not receiving anything from y'all. I don't want anyone to think they help me. No, that's how you get ahead, right? And so he's been able to do that. He's been able to do all three of those things, right? And so having a financial edge, in business, where does that switch for you? Has that switched for you? Is it important? I mean, I can ask you all the individual so you can answer one at a time, but I really want to talk about that, like the importance of the financial edge, and if you feel like you've tapped into it or not, or what. Talk to us.
Gotcha. Well, I was able to gain a financial edge when I started talking to Drayon about working with y'all and learning how to be an investor. To give me extra funds to do stuff when I wasn't making enough money to keep the doors of the business open. We had to figure out other ways, to make money, which was,
Mhm.
I want to say, right like a year after the pandemic started. Um, so and that helped a lot, but I had to attack it the same way. So when I got in the academy with y'all, I just I had stuff I said every morning, and that helped me with my discipline when it came to being able to be successful with that, and everything. It helped me set realistic goals that I could just keep pushing for, and it helped me believe that I could do it as well.
Nice. So, okay. So, for those of you that don't know, what Jemine's talking about when he's saying, he spoke with Drown, who was my husband's, right? And Jemine's a longtime friend. Um, so what we do is, right, we consult people that are coming into the investment space. And so, and for yourself, right? And so sometimes it's just conversation based on, if you want to go and have a firm manager money, or if you want to do something, on a larger scale, like real estate, or if you just want to know, like, how to not be scammed online, right? You just need little bits of information. And so Jemiah is saying, he got his first kind of step into a financial edge a year into the pandemic. So this was 2021. So it's about a year ago, 13 months or so ago, that he and my husband, Dreon Willis, were able to have this conversation about, like, what does it take to work in this space and to learn. Now, Jemiah, did you have any experience prior to this conversation, or was this the first time that you were
No,
having
I
this?
didn't. I didn't. I just used like I did most of my learning with the education that y'all provide, like within the academy, and some of those calls that we used to have, that we still have. I don't get on as many anymore because I don't
Because
want
you
to
have
take up too much
financial
space. Because
edge.
I kind of, once I learned the stuff, but just using the resources that was out there.
Okay. So this goes back to, what I was just saying about like the sacrifice and humility of success. So this was another step for you. You're a year in, a year into the pandemic. This was, so was this what around the same time that you were like, okay, I probably can't keep the doors open? Or was this the year later?
Well, this was a year later.
Okay, so it's a year later. So you have the doors open. You're going, okay, let me reach out to someone who's doing something, and see what resources are available. And then all you did was exactly what everyone is supposed to do, right? Utilize the resources. Learn. You said you were disciplined. You set realistic goals, that you learn how to do those things, and you added that to the affirmations and your confessions that you're having each morning to be able to be successful. And so just so everyone understands, like all we are doing, right, is educating people on how to be successful with your own money, right, to invest your own money, to make your own money, to understand what firms are doing, what you can do for yourself, what's realistic, what's not realistic. A lot of it ends up being mindset work at the beginning, but Jamiyan, if you heard his story already today, right, he had been working on his mindset at this point already for at least the 2 years, right, that he was building this gym up. And so he came in with a strong mindset. And that's key for why he's been able to be, at least with us as a student, extremely successful in the last 12 months, right? And he's not the only one, right? Past profits don't guarantee future results. Past results don't guarantee future results. But he has done phenomenally, and he's been able to give himself a financial edge because of those same things, the sacrifice and the humility of success, and the manifestation, the power of manifestation and belief that he could, go ahead and do what it is that he wanted to do in this space, as long as he utilized the resources that he had. So last year, Jamiyan learns how to, joins our program, right? He's learning, just like many of you guys are doing right now, as the gym is going to like super official launch on the 4th, right? He's joined the program. He's listening to, the steps. So I hope that you guys are going to do this and are doing this when you're at Upstage as well, right? And then he's utilizing our additional resources, free resources to help get him to where he needed to be. And then he's done some amazing things. We get to talk about it on the inside all the time, what everyone gets to do, and we get to celebrate some of these amazing things. But I really wanted you guys to know that, I need you to tell people, because it gets me real hype. Like, it gets me real hype what you've been able to do with the knowledge that you have, right? With the affirmation and the belief that you've created over the years, with your willingness and your commitment to change the community that you're in by starting with changing yourself. And so now, of course, that has turned into a financial resource. That's turned into money, right? For you to be able to now position yourself. You've got this huge gym, right? This huge, amazing gym that's open, and you've done that in lots of different ways. But talk to us about how your financial edge over the last, like, I think you said few months, right? When we talked the last time, has really like 6 months or so, maybe 3 months, has like really pushed you to be able to make this happen now, right? Instead of, a few months from now or a year from now.
Gotcha. Okay. So over the last 6 months, I moved into the DCX style of investing, which
is digital currency. So for those of you that are like, what is he talking? Digital currency exchange. That's what DCX stands for, right? And so that is one of my other hats, right? Is as a CEO partner, right? Is our digital currency education. So Jamiyan originally came in, and sorry, I didn't mean to jump into the story, as a high frequency in our binary options. So if all this is going to your head, that's fine. Hit me up later and we'll talk about it, right? But he came into that area, and that's where my husband specializes, right? And a few of our other partners. And so in the last 6 months, he switched to digital currency. And if you do anything online, you've clearly heard about digital currency at this point. So DCX is our digital currency exchange. Back to you. Sorry.
Okay. So it just with what I was been able to do financially over the last 6 months, it just gave me a little more extra courage and backbone to be able to stop my job and be able to pursue fitness and my passion for fitness full time, for the most part. It just give me that cushion, because I haven't ever like paid myself a check from my fitness business. At some point I will, just because I feel like I need to. But I've always had a job, and then now I'm doing that. So I can that allows me once again to help as many people as I can through fitness, which is my ultimate goal. So that means I can charge people less. I can do more, and different things like that, rather than trying to just take money out to pay myself all the time.
Right. Okay. So still to this day, all these years in, right? All these sacrifices in, you still haven't taken a dollar from your business. That's a great CEO. I love that. And then so being a part of the digital currency exchange now has put you in a position to be able to, you say you left your job, your teaching job, so but you still have cushion to not have to take from your business,
Right.
but you have more time now. So you've bought time freedom, basically.
Right.
So the skill set that you learned in the last year not only has given you a financial edge, but it's more importantly giving you a time edge, which a lot of people don't have. So you now have time freedom because you have a little bit of financial freedom to buy back the hours you would have been at your school, right? And now you can
Right.
put a whole lot more of your personal effort into growing your business. So at some point, not your ultimate goal, but one of your goals will be to be able to take a
Right.
check, a
And then it opened
salary.
and then it opened up more time for me to do like family stuff too. Like I can take my daughter to school every day now, different stuff like that I couldn't do beforehand because I had to be at school by 7:30, and I live 30 minutes away, so I couldn't get her to school that early, then get to work. So it frees up more than just being able to do the gym. It frees up time with your family and stuff like that.
I love that. I think that I always considered myself a little bit of like a nomad, which now I'm like, I think most people just don't realize they want that kind of lifestyle. But I was like, I'm like that. I would rather do things that I want to do, like take my children to school or I just schedule my daughter's swimming lesson in the middle of the school day, right? Because I can, right?
Mm-hmm.
And go pick her up and take her to swimming and take her back. Rather do things that you want to do and not have to sit in a situation where just because you're making X amount of dollars, let me
Right.
stay here and stay stuck. I think once I realized what time freedom was and how much I desired having it, I was a lot more willing, like in your case, right, to sacrifice, right, and to increase my skill set so that I could be in a position where I didn't have to do what anyone else said I needed to do, just whatever I wanted to do. And I can tell you, I've looked at jobs before. So I'm like, I do this already. I could do this in my sleep. I could just go ahead and get a check. And I'm like, no, right? My
Right.
other brain comes in like, you don't want to do anything that someone is going to tell you that you have to do. And it's just like a small taste of that freedom. And I'm very, very, very excited for you. You're extremely, extremely calm and humble about the fact that you get to take your daughter to
Yeah.
school. People don't get to do that. And a lot of people don't get to do that. A lot of people don't get to have time freedom. A lot of people don't get to have. I know for me, I get creative when I have time freedom. My creativity just starts to like go off the chain. So a lot of people I think we get like stripped away of all of the things that make us who we are when we don't have that freedom, and we just don't realize because we're doing it over and over and over again. So in the last 6 months, you've tapped into the digital currency exchange. You've bought your job out, right? So now you have
Right.
time. You can do things with your family. You can do things with your business. You can do things for yourself now. And then you still have this mindset of, like you said, you're just opening the new gym, right? But you've already got the next one in line and in your mind. So you can really start to think about, how do I make it better? And that's, I think, very, very important as an entrepreneur. And I think one of the things that many people misconstrue the ideas of being an employee and an entrepreneur, right? When you're an entrepreneur, you're constantly able to like push the bar of what you want to be better. And you always can think about like, how do I make this better? How do I get it bigger? How do I service more people? How do I bring more value? How do I help? How do I contribute to the community? How do I change the thought process of the people that are coming after me? And and at least for me, I didn't get that opportunity in teaching a little bit, right? Because you're talking to young people,
Mm-hmm.
so you kind of can have those conversations to kind of change their mindset a little bit, but not nearly as much as when you have this freedom. And so entrepreneurship is not for everybody, guys. So I'm not saying that it is, right? but I am saying that, the skills that come with it are phenomenal, and you have done an amazing job. You brought a ton of value to the Snow Hill area, a ton of value to Greenville. We are so excited. I
Thank you.
can't fly at all. But we were talking about, we have to go to the grand opening. How do we get down there? But you know that we're there. We're there. You feel us. I hope you feel us in the room, enjoying all the purple. Tell us, tell everyone, where they can find you in Greenville, where they can find you online, where they can find a business, if your website, whatever. Tell us all that stuff. I'm going to type it here so people have it and they can see it pop up.
Okay, on Facebook, we're Upstage Fitness and Nutrition. There's actually 2 pages. There's one that just says Upstage Fitness. That's for the Snow Hill location. Upstage Fitness and Nutrition is our Greenville location. We have just one Instagram, and that's Upstage Fitness as well. Okay. All right, and the website is upstagefit.com.
Perfect.
So not only beforehand, we only did group classes, but now we have a traditional gym space where you can come work out on your own. We also have boot camps, and we have classes like step, spin. We have weightlifting classes. We have a trampoline class. We have mixed fit, and we have a glute camp as well.
Oh, you have a lot. That's nice. Mm-hmm. And you said on the website is upstagefit.com?
Upstagefit.com, yes.
All right, I need everyone to go. Let me pull that up for everyone. Boom, there we go. So we have Upstage Fitness and Nutrition. That's on Facebook. That's their Greenville location. And then at Upstage Fitness on Instagram. Make sure you're following them on Instagram. And then upstagefit.com is the website. So definitely get on the website, get signed up for classes, right? Make sure that you are tapped in if you're in kind of the area, right? You can commute a little bit to get there. Jamiyan's offering, at Upstage Fitness, he's offering meal plans along with it. All those classes he just talked about, all those different kinds of things that you can do. Check out their videos; they're really cool. Some of their promo videos they're doing. I always watched your videos. Well, one because of course we're connected, right? But I watched them because you have these step classes.
Right.
I haven't seen step, since I was little, and my mom would have the thing in the living room. And so I was like, what is this cool step class? I know I used to send you random. I'd be like, hey, look, I saw this. This kind of looks like your gym, on social media. But man, it looks so hype in there.
Yeah, it is.
I'm like, if you don't like to work out, I don't know. You have to go to Upstage Fitness if you don't like to work out. If you are an entrepreneur and you enjoyed this conversation, if you are a budding entrepreneur or a budding investor and you just need a little bit of consultation, definitely reach out and connect with me. Make sure that you are getting your health in order, your nutrition in order, right? Your health as far as fitness, your nutrition in order. Make sure you're getting your finances in order. We are still in the midst of a pandemic, right? We're still in the midst of a global health crisis. We're still in the mix of an even bigger wealth crisis that we're experiencing right now. But there are people who are successful, like Mr. Jamiyan Phillips and like Upstage Fitness. Please go like their page, drop some hearts, leave some comments, let us know, or reach out and DM, let us know if you enjoyed this conversation. Jamiyan, we're so glad you're here.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Good to be here.
Of course. Until next time, we will see you guys. April. We'll see you in April. Keep an eye out on our social media for the Culture Global for our conversation in April. You don't want to miss that. And this is Dominique Willis, co-founder of For the Culture Global, along with owner and CEO of Upstage Fitness, Mr. Jamiyan Phillips. And we are signing off. Have a great Sunday, everybody.
See y'all later.